In 5, 4. Hello and welcome to another episode of the podcast for the recently deceased. I am the boss, Hosferatu, and with me today is Stephen Anthony from Dark Claw Studios.
Thank you, Hoss.
Yeah, you're welcome. Today we will be discussing the Jordan Peele produced film,
Not directed.
not directed. Him, which I know a lot of people were hyped for just by throwing that name on there.
That's right.
But Jordan was excited about this movie too. He said that Justin Tipping, who wrote and directed the film, is the new master of horror, which, if you remember, is what Jordan was called around the time of Get Out and Us.
Yeah, good movies.
Excellent movies. Jordan Peele is definitely going to go down as one of the horror masters. Justin Tipping, time will tell.
Time will tell.
Okay.
No. I can't do this. No. So at the end of the last recording, I'm pretty sure you stopped recording because I asked the beautiful human if she watched it. If she saw, I said, "Did you see me go off on my rant about Luke Skywalker and Mark Hamill and Jordan Peele saying this about Justin Tipping and how it was just marketing and there's no way that this guy is the new master of horror after one film?" And she's like, "No, I didn't see it." I was like, "Oh shit, we stopped recording." So you stopped recording at the end of the long walk.
Yep.
When you said exactly what you're saying now, and I went off into a quasi not so pleasant rant about it being nonsense. It is nonsense. Please do not hype something up by, if you are given the respect of being called the next master of horror, by producing something, signing a check, and then putting your name on something and then promoting it by calling this guy the next master of horror. Just don't, because him, we're going to talk about, it ain't it.
Okay. So if you're with us for the first time, we're going to give you a quick spoiler-free review with our score out of 10, and then we're going to segue into Spoiler City, where we are going to deep dive this movie. And based on what Steven has already said, let me intro the film, and then we're going to let Steven go first.
He knows what's coming, guys. We didn't talk about this, but he knows.
All right. Him. A young athlete descends into a world of terror when he's invited to train with a legendary champion whose charisma curdles into something darker. Written and directed by Justin Tipping, as we said, starring Marlon Wayans and Tyreek Withers. Also Julia Fox, who I'm going to scroll down and assume is the wife, and she is the wife. Okay. Stephen, what do you got for us?
Here's what I got for you in my non-spoiler review. I think Tyreek Withers should have got top billing. Marlon's performance was absolutely phenomenal, but I still feel it's Tyreek's movie, maybe because he's just the protagonist. I don't know. Argue with me. Leave a comment in the chat. Let us know if I'm right or wrong about that. Amazing performances by all three. This script, because it's not the production. It's not even so much the direction. I'm pretty sure it's the script. Beautiful stuff that we haven't seen. Like, I haven't seen the X-ray shot since the beautiful, not a beautiful one, Cinderella Man and Man of Steel. So I like the X-ray shot in here. Just a couple of the choices they made were really, really cool. 7 days. How many days can you mind fuck somebody until you get to the fifth day where you're not, but you are. God, we got to get into spoiler territory. I give this movie a 4.
Okay. Him. We have phenomenal performances from Marlon Wayans and Tyreek Withers. If we don't see a nom for Marlon Wayans, I mean, sometimes the Academy likes to do things where it's like, oh, he's been in the game so long, it's finally time to throw an award at him. I feel like this is the movie, this is the performance that they might throw at least a nomination at Marlon for. Tyreek probably won't get much many accolades for this besides what us critics have to say.
And people seeing what he can do, because he can obviously do a lot.
Oh yeah, no, no. This he is definitely has range in this movie. He's not
Hmm.
just some pretty guy with muscles who has his shirt off through the whole movie. Although he does have his shirt off through the whole movie, most of the
Half of it.
movie. Well, way more than that. Anyway, um, okay. Uh, this is a beautifully shot movie. Um,
Yeah.
the cinematography, the DP, how much of this is Justin Tipping, how much of it is just the people he's working with. The movie's gorgeous. Bordering on
Well,
art
team,
house,
right?
huh?
The director built a team, and he got these people on there, so I guess we can give him credit for that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just sometimes it's like, well, he's we don't have to get into it just yet. Um,
I'm trying
let's.
to be nice.
Yeah, I know, I know. Okay, so it's a beautifully shot movie.
Hmm.
The script is I would say good enough. It definitely does its job. It's not, and I'm talking about just dialogue here. I'm not talking about plot or story. Um, it's fine.
The dialogue was
It
good.
it serves its purpose. It's not there weren't moments where I was like, ooh, that's a one liner that's going to go down in history. But it was good. Uh, the story to this movie, I really enjoyed as they unravel the plot of the film. When you find out what's actually going on, I'm obviously trying not to spoil anything here. Um, performances, plot, um, practical effects, a nice turn at the end, which I enjoyed his decision. I thought it was the right choice as a viewer. I thought it was the right choice for his character, especially with all the whys. Why did he make that choice, etc. All right, I can see Steven chomping at the bit to get into spoiler territory. Let me go
Yeah.
ahead. Let me go ahead
What's
and
the score?
give him
What's the score?
an 8 out of 10. Yeah, Steven, let's do it. Let's have one of those episodes.
So I knew this was going to happen. I said, you know what? No. The only reason why I'm not giving this movie a 3 is because we gave 825, or I gave 825 Forest Road a 4.
Right.
So this movie is beautiful. Yes, everything you said is absolutely correct. The dialogue is fine. This plot is fine. Something is clunky here. Something is not just fucking right. And God, this movie sucks. It's very hard to watch. It's boring. How you saw it a second time, I don't know.
Oh,
And
second
I'm
time made
trying to
it
keep track
better.
of the cards. I'm trying to keep track of fun, poise, leadership. I think it was resilience, and I forgot vision, and I forgot what came after that. I'm like, okay, 7 days. What the hell are you doing to this guy? I think they had to nerf him from jump because he's a superstar. We find out why later, but he's a superstar, and he's, gonna train with his idol, and he's gonna live that life and step into becoming the hero that he wanted to be. This quarterback that, despite a vicious injury, overcame it and continued to dominate for 7 more years, 8 years of dominance. Oh my God, how did he do it? We're going to find out why later too. Jim Jeffries also gave a phenomenal performance here.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, the stand-up comedian from Australia or New Zealand that everybody knows from his viral rants that he did. Great performance here. So yeah, he gets nerfed from jump. He gets the injury not even on the field. He gets it before he goes, and I think this is so necessary for the device of the film. It makes a great callback and a great revenge at the end, but it nerfs his confidence. So he's not, he's still living in that world, and everything is like highly stylized, and celebrity, whatever. Where he's the man, whatever room he walks into, but he knows it's mostly for show. It's there's a timeline here. He's got a TBI. He's got these stitches across his head, and but it doesn't nerf his ability. The doctor said maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but it doesn't nerf his ability, but it does nerf his confidence. So he's not going to get it back and do exactly what he should do on day one, maybe day two max, until day seven. Um, and we could wrap up right here. Haas is going to talk about for the next 30 minutes what he thought of the movie. Maybe I'll come in and contribute where I can. I don't know.
All right. So yeah, I mean, we don't have to play by play this movie. We can definitely just talk about it generally.
Oh, no, no,
Um,
no, no. Let's
oh
go
no,
play by
you want
play.
to play by play? All
Yeah.
right. Play by play. So we starts off with a montage of or no, it starts off with him as a kid watching Isaiah White, who's played by Marlon Wayans, um, get that injury, that potentially career-ending injury, and his dad pops over his shoulder and says, "That's what real men do. They sacrifice."
And that's a compound fracture. That bone came, I don't know if it was out of
At
his
it.
knee or his shin.
Yeah, yeah. It was definitely sticking out.
So a compound fracture, when you break a bone, but the bone protrudes from the body. I've seen that. It sucks.
Yeah, and then we get the dad yelling at the kid like pro football, and the kid's yelling, "Yeah, I am him. I am him. I'm Isaiah White." And then we get a an opening credits montage of Isaiah White crushing it and going on to win 8 championships, followed by a montage of Cameron Cade, who is played by Tyreek Withers. And we get his montage of how he's up and coming, how he's the next great.
Mm.
Um,
The next goat. They
the,
use the word goat a lot.
the next goat. That's right.
So, okay, so my first beef with this film, goat is greatest of all time. Is it not?
Yeah.
So, okay, how can Isaiah White and Cameron Cade both be the goat? So
But,
I'm watching it and I'm hearing a lot of comparisons to Michael Jordan in The Last Dance. His attitude, his mentality going into it. But how much longer can they keep this going? Kind of thing. And I was like, okay, this guy's a sports fan that wrote this, obviously. And I like the metaphor of the movie. What you're willing to do, and obviously you could spin it from negative to positive and apply it to your own life, which is what I think they were going for. That's my first critique. What the you can't have two greatest of all time. That's not what the word greatest means. There's not two greatest of all time.
well, right. There can be only one, and that's the point. There's a new goat. There's not two goats. It's you're the goat now, and he was the goat until you came along. I think that's all that is. I mean, it does.
Okay,
Uh, you
maybe I'm
know.
being too picky.
Huh?
Maybe I'm being too picky because this movie sucks.
um, very adult of you. uh, so, what happens next? We have some kind of no. The party's after the incident. He's like training, and he gets assaulted by a dude in a savior's outfit. So the Saviors is Isaiah White's team, and their imagery seems to be a little all over the place. Like sometimes it's like big Viking warrior, sometimes it's like actual like goat horns on like Christ-like figures. A crucifix with I think a dude in a football helmet is their actual symbol, or it is the necklace he wears. So you see the cross, and you're like, maybe he is a Christian, but no, it's a football player with a football helmet on the crucifix.
So I love the religious imagery, and this is going to be a criticism that's not going to make any damn sense, at least coming from me. Yeah, as writers, we scream all the time, show, don't tell, show us, don't tell us. And they showed us, and they didn't tell us. They did
Mm-mm.
not beat us over the head with the religious implications. If there was, I don't know, just either give me more of it or say something about it. Um, the only zealot that we get to see was, I think her name was Marjorie, was like the super fan
Yeah.
that is so in love with Isaiah White that she hates Cameron Cade the second he shows up.
We don't want you.
Yeah, we don't want you. Which oh god, I wish his name from the Indiana Pacers the year they were supposed to win. When he showed up to the Pacers, he got the exact same treatment. So that happens in sports, and so that was great here. Um, if I could have seen just a little bit more zealousy, maybe once or twice throughout the movie.
Yeah, I think we got plenty of it. I mean, between the crowd outside when he comes in, and then of course when Marjorie and the two guys in white attack, and then the team, like the team he puts together, they are all there to be sacrificed for Isaiah and Cameron, and the only one who there's two of them who really take the damage, right? The white guy and then the other guy who gets headbutted.
Yeah.
Nobody else really took any damage from that, but they were there to sacrifice if they needed to. They were
So
willing. They were
that
willing.
scene,
That's the point.
I love that scene on day one, and I'm not sure if this is day one or day two. I don't really remember the difference between fun and poise. Um, but yeah, on one day, it's like, okay, this is serious. When I fuck up, and he's like, hey, my man is dying out here. Get somebody who knows how to catch. So he's getting his fire back, I guess you could say, or his, it's his killer instinct that they're trying to instill in him.
Yeah.
And I want to say they are trying to instill in him, not necessarily Isaiah White
Right.
is trying to, but he's almost the unwitting instrument. I feel we could dive into that later, whether or not this guy was a useful idiot, a willing victim, or just so indoctrinated by the system that he just says fuck it and goes all out and indoctrinates this kid the way he was indoctrinated. Um, I like that second scene where he comes over and he blasts this kid to the floor, and you don't know who blasted who. You don't know if somebody came over and blasted him again, or if he came over and blasted, and he's screaming so you don't hear it. And they wait a good 4 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, before it's revealed that it's Tyreek Withers as Cameron Cade that knocked the other guy on the floor. And of course, Isaiah White comes over and says, I'm proud of you in a nice dark moment. Um, I like that scene that it wasn't revealed right away. I like that they wanted to keep us guessing. I do like the disorienting quality that this movie gives from time to time with those kind of choices. But for 4 days, this guy's throwing a fucking football. Okay.
All right. So there's a party. He's got stitches. The doctor says you can't do anything. If you get hit again, your life could be over.
Your career would be over, is what she
Yeah.
says. And
So
that's the exact same Michael Jordan conversation when he broke his foot, when he was entering the NBA.
right.
If you play now, you may be pissing away 15 years. If you wait a year, you got a guaranteed 14 years. Which way do you go?
Right.
So again, a lot of correlations.
What I do like here about the movie that shows a little bit about the culture, and it's also like setting up Isaiah White's perception of life, which so we'll jump ahead a little bit. Isaiah poses to Cameron, um, football, family, God. What's the order? And Cameron says family, God, football. And
Well, family was always in the middle. It was either God or football, depending on where they put it. One of them said football, family, God. The other one said God, family, football.
okay, uh,
And I
yeah,
remember that I was like, wait, is that supposed to scare me that you're putting football before God, or you're putting God before after football? Like, okay.
well, so Isaiah puts football first. He says football, family, God, right? And now you go all the way back to the beginning, and here we are in this doctor's office where the doctor says this could be a career-ending injury, and the mother, puts her arm around Cameron and says, "We'll get a second opinion."
Mm-hmm.
So, so not that the mother doesn't love Cameron, not that his brother doesn't love him and his girlfriend doesn't love him, but in these next few scenes, they're all gonna put his career before him.
Yeah.
Not a single person is gonna say, "Do what you want, make sure you're healthy, then make the decision."
Mm-hmm.
They're all gonna say, say yes to the dress, get back on the field,
Yeah.
You know,
Do what's best for me.
yeah,
Don't do what's best for you.
right.
Do what's best for your career because your career is what's good for us because we know that you're a sucker and you're going to take care of us. And I think Isaiah White basically says that on day one or two, like, your family is the reason why you do this. We do this so that your family's going to have generational wealth, basically,
Right.
life changing wealth. Um,
So that was a nice. It was nice to see that, especially since I've actually seen and experienced that in my life with my brother. Just like how your family and friends almost turn on you. They have an expectation of you sharing your wealth, and if you don't, you know, it's your fault. You're a bad
so let
person.
me go off on a personal tangent here. Okay. So watch this back, guys. 5, 7, 3, 1 year from now, ain't none of y'all getting shit. Ain't none of y'all getting shit. You weren't there. Now, might sound bitter. You were not there when I was alone, depressed, fighting demons, and putting those motherfuckers out on the page. I get that publishing contract, or I get that viral book, and it's go time, and you show up, eat shit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Eat the biggest pile of
Hmm.
shit. Okay. All right. So the party. He gets a call. It's this is also funny. Like the guy who throws the party is like, I'm the best at throwing parties. He's talking to Cameron like they're boys. He's like, and then all of a sudden he's like, come here and check out this jewelry. What are you gonna rock? And he's just trying to sell him the jewelry, and you're just like, motherfucker, like this guy's a piece of shit too. Like nobody in his life so far is redeemable. Nobody in his life so far is redeemable. Not even his
And
mom. I'm like
I know.
I'm affected by all of. I'm 10 minutes into the movie, and I'm already feeling for this guy. Like this movie already has me sympathetic for Cameron's situation. He's the best at what he does,
Yeah,
but everybody around him is a leech, a
yeah,
parasite, and it's
yeah.
just disgusting. Um,
I was gonna say, surround yourself with good people. So, Darko Studios and Basement Media, just an awesome team. Surround yourself with good people, creatives that will lift you up, because you're gonna
Absolutely.
need that. My best friend for years was always the person that said, keep going when you don't want to keep going, because you're not getting the results right away. It takes time. Um, Cameron Cade does not have this in this film ever. He's going in alone. He is alone, and not because they take his cell phone away in a beautifully scripted, non-access to his cell phone kind of way. Because he does get access to a phone, and even then, I think on day 4, day 5, oh, this is really rough. It's somebody's, it's his mom's birthday.
It's mom's
He's calling
birthday.
for his birthday. He's calling for her birthday, and even then, we believe in you, baby. We're praying for you. You're gonna get through this. Shit.
Yeah. They're not listening to him. He's saying, this is hard. The brother says, suck it up, buttercup.
Right. Maybe because they don't understand his interpretation of hard. This is not training camp hard, boot camp hard. This is you're fucking my mind by making me do effed up shit. I've watched illegal shit happen here, and they're not only are they cool with it, but they want to indoctrinate me with it. They want me to become down with it, so I can become them. They are robbing me of my identity, of my who I am,
Right.
and they're not listening because he's got to get through 7 days to show what he could do to get on that team to get that paycheck, and that's what we're going to tell him every step of the way. He is alone throughout this entire film.
Absolutely. And that is his one cry for help, and in the call, it's not answered. Normally, in a horror movie, specifically when you have an isolated character or a character who's being held captive, you have the friend or family member who is desperately trying to find them. They don't know where they are, so they're
Mm-hmm.
using cell phone GPS. They're checking their credit card receipts. They're doing all this side work to find them, and they're going to show up like right at the end, like right
Mm-hmm.
when it's too late or just before it's too late. Um, we don't have it in this movie.
No.
Like they're partying for the mom's birthday and not listening to him when he's calling when he's crying for help. They're just keep your head down, do the work, get that paycheck, make that money, come back to us and take care of us. And it's
So that's the kind of the genius of this script or of this concept or whatever. the family is pushing him into the haunted house rather than trying to pull him out of the haunted house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Glory and fame and money is the haunted house.
Right.
And hey, you get some ghosts with you on your way out,
Yeah.
okay, but you're famous.
Yeah. Isaiah White feels like the antagonist, but he's not. He's definitely not. He's another victim. So they're both victims in this scenario, and it's the plot that is the antagonist. The culmination of the events that are leading to the gladiatorial, Roman style, 1v1, two men enter, one man leaves.
Yeah,
Um,
Jim Jeffrey is a sports doctor. I think he talks about that, right? About
yeah,
arenas and gladiators and how American football is the modern iteration of that. We definitely see Isaiah White saying that in a very human moment, where he's like, our family, they're the reason why we do this. Um, I'm not sure if that's enough. At a certain point, when you have the information and you are making a choice, left or right, back or straight, keep going, stop, whatever your choices are, if you keep going heinous shit, if you're not willing to have that conversation like, hey guys, I'm going to go work on the docks, I'm going to go get my CDL and drive, I'm going to do whatever boring ass blue collar job because this ain't it.
yeah.
I'm not sure if you are entirely a victim. At a certain point, I believe you are. What's the word? Culpable, responsible.
Sure, sure. But as we find later with the reveal, he was groomed
Yeah,
for this,
yeah.
and that's the more shocking reveal. Like, because there's a few twists here, and they're most you can mostly see them all coming. Like, okay, that he and Isaiah are gonna have to have some kind of 1v1.
And I was waiting for that, and I'm like, when that happens, I think on day 6.
Day 6, yeah. Day 6 is the
Um,
climax.
I'm like, okay, this is where I've been waiting for this movie to go. That one-on-one real conversation, not a gun in the sauna, not going out to a desert to shoot a fan who's still breathing. Um, who maybe she was Marjorie, maybe she wasn't. He almost killed Marjorie in the sauna, but then Isaiah does it for him. But was she really dead? Because they're killing somebody in the desert the next day.
Hmm.
Okay, and we know he's killing a person because we see them moving within the mascot uniform. But the whole point is to mentally torture this guy. So, did I miss him being revealed that he just killed somebody um,
And
without knowing it?
no,
I didn't see that.
I think
So,
I think he knew full well what he was doing at that point. He felt like he was pot committed. Too far in to go back. He had made his decision to go
so you
forward.
think he knew he was killing a human being inside of a mascot
Yeah,
uniform?
absolutely.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, that gives this doesn't bump it up to a 5, but I'll give it a 4.5.
Yeah,
Okay, guys.
I think he
That's
I think he hesitated, he decided, and I think he justified like a level of plausible deniability, a level of benefit of the doubt, and just shot.
Yeah, the guys in a mascot uniform. They set it up. Obviously, it's a dummy. Blah blah blah. Oh, that okay. So the transformation process is working. Um,
Yep,
Brainwashing is working.
yep.
That is terrifying, but nevertheless, I'm waiting for that real one-on-one conversation with him and Isaiah. And fuck, I can't wait.
So we get some cool scenes. We get introduced to the wife when she's about to go on a little vacay. Elsie was her name. Um, and you
So
can
she was meant to look. What would you say? Artificial,
well,
fake,
so
and what?
so so the pale eyebrow thing is new. I mean, a lot of celebrities are doing it now. So I think that was just like a fad choice, but also like she's made to look expensive, right?
Okay.
Like she is living the money life. Um,
I feel like she is the jewelry that was attempted to be sold to Cameron that he said no to, that Isaiah said yes to.
yeah, absolutely. Right. It's all about status. Like,
Mhm.
um, when we first see her, she's selling metaphysical stones, a egg shaped one that she's like, pop this in your pussy the next time, and you'll have an amazing orgasm.
Oh,
And
we
then
make them for men
and
too.
we make it for men too, and she hands a fucking a pointy tipped cylinder that's twice the size of this egg, and he's like, "What?" She's like, "You put it in your butthole, Cam." Oh yeah.
So yeah, she was great. Jim Jeffries was great. These two side characters that they give a lot of layering to the movie. So
Yeah. All right. Let's talk. We talk a little about the training, the brutality. So day one is fun, and day one feels like training camp. Like he's got some buddies. He's gonna make some friends. He probably feels great at the end of day one, right? They talk football all day. It's all buddy buddy. It's jokes and it's great stuff.
and I feel like the horror comes from Jim Jeffries here, injecting him with shit. We
Yep.
don't really know what, taking the staples out of his head.
Yep. Putting
Um,
new staples in. Yep.
yeah, so it's not, it's fun because the mental torture is not there yet, but it's not a free ride for him. He's not showing how good his arm is and how good his football skill is, and then he's getting off. There's still some scary stuff that happens there,
I do.
and we can go to day two.
I do love how day one ends with him hitting the ice bath, and
Yeah.
then we hard cut to him getting woken up with the ice bucket being poured over his body.
So an ice bath is not a joke. Like I am trying to gear up to take a cold shower, just a cold shower, which I've done before when I was like, out of money and out of oil and I had to take a shower. But there's a lot of health benefits to 10 seconds of a cold shower or, up to 3 minutes of a cold shower. And an ice bath, damn, from jump. This guy's not a veteran. He's a rookie. He's got lots of skill and he's been groomed to be amazing. But an ice bath from jump, shit.
Yeah, no, that's some serious stuff there. I try to do
How'd
the.
they shoot that? Do you think they shot that with actual ice?
I don't think so. Just like plastic that looks like ice and regular room temperature water. I'd guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to say.
Tyreek, let us know.
Yeah.
Was that ice in
Yeah.
that fucking tub or
Tyreek,
what?
get in the comments and let us know how was that ice bath. Um, so, right. Maurice Green, who plays Malik, wakes him up with the ice bucket, and now we have some serious training. Now some
And this part's important. He says "cockadoodle doo, motherfucker."
cockadoodle doo, motherfucker. So we get a team of fucking badass kickers, and they look fucking badass and ready to kick some ass. And what's his name? Cam is tired, so Isaiah's gonna go play without him, and then Jim Jeffries pops up behind him and gives him a little shot, and
Right, you'll thank me later.
yeah, you'll thank me later. And Cam gets up and goes to play. And so the next scene is when they're throwing the ball with a 2-second timer, and the white guy in the crew gets brought over to the automatic football thrower, and every time Cam comes in over 2 seconds, they drop a football in that thing and it smashes right into his face. And this is a brutal scene. Very
Yeah.
very brutal scene. Like it's not funny. Like sometimes in a horror movie when like violence occurs, you get a crazy weird kill or something, and you laugh out loud because it's hokey and whatever.
Yeah, your autonomic system can't take it, so you involuntarily laugh. This doesn't happen here. This is brutal,
So brutal.
and it's brutal mentally for Cam, who now it's on him.
Mm,
Now Isaiah is putting this on him. When you miss, when you come under, people's lives are affected.
yeah. The less
That is true in the game. I'll give Isaiah I'll give Isaiah credit for that, but I don't know.
yeah the lesson here is you need to be a leader. Are you ready to lead? Everything is on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Whether you win or lose, it's the quarterback's responsibility. It's the quarterback's fault. You if you don't understand that, you have to understand that now. And I'm going to show you by breaking this guy's face with a football every time you mess up. And so it's a brutal lesson, but it's a lesson he learned. He sacked up and made the last passes and called Jim Jeffries over to take a look at him and was like, "Hey, make sure this guy's okay." To which he like bows before Isaiah and says it was an honor to like.
Yeah, to have your face smashed, and then Isaiah turns back around to him and basically says, "What are you laughing at, motherfucker?" or something like that. It's like
Yeah.
no love whatsoever for this guy who took the football straight to the face.
Yeah. 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 We're not friends. Like you came in here to do a job. You did the job. Now get the fuck out of here.
You're meat.
Yeah. Exactly. So the next set of challenges, he's going to be taking and breaking tackles, there's probably like a sauna scene before that. We get a lot of cool down scenes with the two of them. We get a sauna, we got a hyperbaric chamber. He does go
Isaiah likes to say from time to time, "I'm gonna go watch some tape," and I was like, Nate's gonna study this, and he's gonna know what that means. Because he does it like 2, 3 times. I want to say 3, maybe even 4, where there's going to be something. He's going to go watch some tape. Shit's going to happen, and I'm not seeing it.
So
what happened?
let's talk about this now. We don't have to go chronologically. I love this bit. I do have one complaint about it. This is partially why I got an 8, and not a higher score from me. Justin Tipping, if you're listening, I loved your movie. But I'm a critic. I got to do my job.
I didn't love it, Justin. Looking forward to the next one.
So he says, "I'm going to go watch some tape," and he says it instead of doing multiple things, even so far as to go to a party with the agents, the owners, etc., where Cam's going to get his offer. He says, "I'm going to go watch some tape." Now, "I'm going to go watch some tape" means I'm going to go watch some fucking tape. And what tape is games of your opponents playing football.
Yeah. Either studying what, your mistakes or their weaknesses or their strengths and strategizing. What does it mean here?
Now, presumably that is what it means.
Okay.
Because
it's not code for anything.
Yeah, no, he hasn't announced his retirement. What I like about the reveal of this line is when he and Cam face off in the arena, so to speak. Cam walks into the circular room where Isaiah is sitting on what is like a round, chair or like padded recliner sofa, whatever. And he's staring up at a circle, and the circle is a 360 degree sphere of like a LED or LCD screen, and it's in focus on the outside of a crowd, and the crowd is cheering and screaming, and it goes into the center, and you can assume that the view of it from the center is less disoriented, and it probably just looks like you're staring at a screaming crowd, like ravenous for you. And Cam says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Just watching some tape." Now, when he walked into that room and it showed him watching the screen, I said to myself, "Oh my God," when he says he's watching tape, he's just laying there and getting this feeling, the feeling of winning, the feeling of playing football, the feeling of being worshipped by thousands and thousands and thousands and millions of people.
Okay. So that's what he's actually doing.
And that's what he's actually doing. And then the lines came. "What are you doing?" "I'm watching some tape." Justin, come on. Your audience isn't dumb. Don't treat them like they're dumb. When that scene, I was like, oh my God, that was so perfect. The way he's always going to watch tape, and him watching tape is this like self-loathing where he just like feels like so worthless, such shit that he has to to
He has to
re
go
to
relive
recharge.
his
Yeah,
glory days.
yeah. To recharge, he has to stare at this screen of screaming fans. Oh man, what a great scene, and what comes immediately after it makes it perfect.
So is part of him happy that he can step aside and let Cam do all this horrendous shit that he no longer has to do? And he's got, he's set for life. He's got that generational wealth. His family's taken care of. Or is he resentful of Cam coming and this fight that they're going to have? That shit's real because part of them is going to show the owners, no, this kid ain't it. You got me for another year since we didn't announce the retirement.
Right. So I think he goes back and forth. Right.
Mm-hmm.
He has an admiration for Cam. He actually truly is a fan, and of course he puts football first. Remember, so it's football family God, and so if he is God, he puts himself last, right?
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
so
Damn. That's the insight you get here at the podcast with recently deceased.
because this is a Jesus Christ allegory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the passing of the torch for him is a double-edged sword. He wants to prepare Cam for this fight, but he wants to win the fight.
Yeah.
So it's it is constantly ebbing and flowing, um, the relationship between Isaiah and Cam.
Again, amazing performance by Marlon Wayans. I think people are going to look at this movie and point to his performance over Tyreek Withers, but just two amazing performances. But Marlon Wayans definitely gives the more nuanced performance. Tyreek is this jock, but he shows up and he brings the packages from Amazon and whatnot inside the house
Oh yeah,
with him because he's a decent human being. But he's
such
not a totally decent human being because he kicks one of the boxes, to get it over. So layered, nuanced, complicated, genuine characters, played with choices from the actors that let critics like us delve into it and figure out what's what at each moment. So yeah, another moment that is Marlon should definitely be recognized for. Quick rabbit hole for me, no rabbit holes for Haas because he gives it an 8. I watched Split for the first time, and right after Split, I said, "Tell me James McAvoy didn't get something for this fucking movie." And so I looked at it, and it was all sci-fi awards, like the Saturn Award, this, that award, that. Nothing, I didn't see a Golden Globe, I didn't see an Emmy, I didn't see not an Emmy, an Oscar nomination. I was like, well, this is pure straight laced bullshit. How? Um, Very very similarly, I'm not going to say to the level of James McAvoy in Split, but Marlon Wayans definitely. I didn't even recognize him. I was, he was Isaiah White for me in this movie.
oh yeah,
He was unrecognizable. I was like, is that Marlon Wayans? Like maybe 15, 20 minutes, after he shows up on screen. He better get something other than just Hollywood saying, okay, Marlon, we're going to give you more serious roles, more dramatic roles. Obviously you could do more than comedy, which comedy is the hardest to do. If you can do comedy, you can do anything.
right.
Um, what does how much recognition is Marlon going to get for this?
I If he doesn't get I don't even know if this would qualify as Best Actor nomination. He might get a Best Supporting Actor nomination.
Right, best supporting actor,
Um,
but he's got to get it.
he's got as much. He's got. I mean, Tyreek has more screen time, but I mean, they probably have the same amount of dialogue. So I don't know.
I mean, if Tyreek probably does have more screen time because he has to set it up. So I want to know who has more screen time from the moment Cam gets to camp when
Right.
it's just the two of them. Before that, Tyreek is really carrying the entire load and getting this vehicle where it has to be to start telling the story you need to tell. Um, the first whatever 5 scenes of a movie is always intro and just gets us there, which sucks.
Yeah.
Um, Pound for pound, though, I'm going to say Marlon does more of the heavy lifting. I mean, it's more fun to be the bad guy, screaming "hut," and fucking crack the guy in the face with a car. Hut, crack the fucking guy in the face again.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But
I mean, also.
Marlon definitely deserves some chops for this.
Oh yeah. The couple times where he goes from like screaming in his face to almost like gleefully insane and playful, like, and he does it on a dime. The couple of times that happens, so amazing.
and that is something to look out for in our personal relationships. When somebody is, cold, 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 and then warm, super cold, super warm, they do not have um, a split personality. They are fucked in the head in a completely different way. They are gaslighting you. Get the fuck out. And it's going to take Cam from day one. Maybe it doesn't happen to him. Maybe it happens to the guy that caught the footballs in the face. But it happens to him. Oh, you're tired. Rest here. I'll go. I'm an 8-year veteran with a massive injury to my knee. I'll go.
Yeah.
He's doing it to him from day one, from jump. Um, Cam, and again, like I said, maybe because his confidence was nerfed from jump. God, I can't wait for day 6 and can't wait for him to do what he does. But are we there yet, Haas, in the timeline?
We're almost there. We have to set up like 2 more things. So we did talk about the attack from Marjorie. So Marjorie and these 2 guys in white are obsessed fans. They attack Cam in the sauna. He thinks he kills Marjorie. Isaiah throws her up against the wall, and we think Isaiah kills her. And then he says, "You go get out of here. I'm going to clean up this mess."
And that's more gaslighting that he does the next day out in the desert when Cam says something to the effect of, "Oh, that woman I thought I killed," and Isaiah says, like, "What? Who did you think you killed? Like, what?" And he's just like, and you're looking at it like, are you not aware of, like, this is some pretty serious shit that happened? I understand we're in fucking bizarro world here,
Right.
and we're gonna do some crazy shit.
And then they have a few more
You
lines.
are aware of said crazy shit, right,
And then
Isaiah?
they have a few more lines of dialogue, and then out of nowhere, he goes, "Oh, that lady."
Oh yeah. Yeah, that woman I killed. That woman I threw up against her face up against the fucking wall.
Fantastic.
And her nose dripped blood on the way down. Yeah, now I remember.
I remember.
Like, that is some gaslighty, head trippy shit.
So we do have to right along the lines with the Jesus allegory, the Christian allegory that this movie definitely just embraces. Let's say we have to talk about the blood. So we know that there's power in the body and there's power in the blood, according to the Bible, the body and blood of Christ. So the whole movie is sacrificing his body for football. It's the body, the body, the body. Improve the body. Jim Jeffries as the sports trainer, the body. Now we get to see the blood. We see Cam kind of comes to I think in another ice bath or on a slab of ice or something, and he sees Isaiah there on the other side of the room, taking a blood bag that has his name on it, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like 98% O2. It's like, I need the oxygen. This stuff is like crack to me.
Right. This is how you got past a career-ending knee injury. This is how you do it. You're cheating.
Yeah, he stores his own blood when it's like perfect, the highest levels of this, that, and the other thing, and he takes infusions of it when he needs it. And this is all we know at this point. We don't know anything else about the blood, but we know that he's taken his own blood. He offers Cam a hit, and Cam is like, "Fuck no! Look, you're fucking disgusting, bro." Okay, the last thing we need to set up before we can move on to the climax is the party. Okay, so we brought it up earlier. Isaiah goes to watch some tape. Elsie and Elsie and Cam go to the party in this rundown, what looks like a fucking hole-in-the-wall bowling alley.
It looks like that. What's the name of that fucking hotel that's across the street from Walmart in Oneonta? That's for sale for $1.5 million or some shit.
Yeah,
It looks like
it's a Super 8.
Crack den motel
Yeah.
/ warehouse. It looks like a heap of shit.
Yeah, they go inside, and then there's like this like regular lady, a middle-aged lady, and she's like, "Oh, Pam, I love your hair." And it's just like, what the fuck? And she's like the gatekeeper. So they walk in, and they take her corner, and they open these doors, and it is money.
But she does warn him before they go in. Just go along with their ritualistic bullshit. Go along with their rituals.
Yeah.
So we, as an audience, I think, are getting a little prepped I
Yeah.
wish she had said that slightly differently. I wish she had said, you know, listen, whatever strange things they're into, just go with it.
Right.
If you say rituals, I feel like that tips the spear too much. It lets us know too much information. Because I like what's coming. You know,
Right.
so certain people like myself and Pitt feel that weapons started as soon as it went linear. For me, him starts basically around here. Really the confrontation the next day between him and Isaiah. Um, I really hope that doesn't become a formula. Like, hey, let's set shit up for an hour and let's get just a half hour of jam packed action. Please don't do that shit. Please sprinkle that shit a little bit more generously throughout. Um, yeah, how do you feel about that? About the rituals warning coming from
I
LC?
I also personally did not like the word ritual here. As a writer, it tipped me off to basically the entire plot.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's coming next was not a surprise. It was oh, that's what I anticipated from her saying the word ritual.
Yep.
So
Which I was like, when he gets that injury from the very, very beginning, his TBI before he gets to the Saviors or Isaiah's camp, I'm like, okay, is it possible they did that? And now, as soon as she says that, all questions have been answered, which is unfortunate.
yeah, so they go to the party. It's like bright lights, loud music. Everybody's dressed to the nines. She takes him to the table. She introduces the owner. His agent is there, whose agent's name is Tom, I believe, played by Tim Heidecker, which I did not know until we looked this up on IMDb today. Um, so if you're a Tim and Eric fan, keep an eye out for Tom. Um, and yeah, they make the offer, um, and he accepts. So what is he
So
accepting?
his agent, who is part of the grooming process, he knows goddamn well this kid is chomping at the bit for any offer from any team, but to be offered from the top team with the top quarterback that he's been idolizing since he's a child. What a piece of shit that phone call when he says, hey, I pulled a miracle, we got you going to the Saviors, but they want to make sure that you still got it first. It's going to be 7 days. What a heinous human being. And they're out there, climbers, uh, empty, soulless sacks of shit. This agent, what a scumbag.
Oh yeah, and the imagery is there in the scenes coming up. So don't worry, he'll get his in the end.
Let
Um,
me. Oh. All right, I'll wait. That imagery was that
so
imagery
good.
was like one of the many. No, it was one of the things I enjoyed about this movie. I was like, okay, now they're just coming out and just saying it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
That
imagine being those people. Like, you're the owner and you're the agent that fucking pulled. You're the puppet master stringing this kid along, and
yeah,
you're whatever important fucking schmuck you are. And here, put these masks on. Ooh.
yeah, yeah. I love the climax of this movie. It definitely ties it all up into a nice does a nice
Who
bow,
who
and
played the owner? I know he gives accolades or credit to Isaiah White after they win. He talks about the organization the way an owner's supposed to, the coach and
Richard
the entire team. But I got to give special credit to Isaiah White. Who played the owner? Because it looked like Christopher Lloyd to me.
Richard Lippart.
Hey, Richard Laporte, you look like Christopher Lloyd. Look a little bit like Doc Brown with a haircut.
Yeah, yeah, I'll give you that. All right, so now we're coming to where he wakes up and he's gonna see something. I hope you can remember. That's gonna make him want to get out of there, or that's gonna make him try to get some revenge on Isaiah. And he doesn't matter. He decides to take his trophy. So he's got a trophy case with a really nice trophy on it, and then the 8 rings surrounding it. He's walking down the hallway with that trophy. He's running it down the hallway. It's scraping all the way down.
He says O.J. Simpson robbing his own trophy back from From the guy who bought it at the auction.
He goes into the round room that we mentioned earlier. He sees Isaiah just watching some tape, and there is the conversation, the reveal that there can be only one, and this is where he reveals that he had uh, Cam attacked, to bring him here.
Yeah.
That was the inciting incident, the excuse to get him to the training camp. Was the injury.
What I do love about this movie is all the metaphors, and this is still part of the training. For a cinematic device, it may be a reveal, but the reveal is still a part of the story, which is in order to go, and this is still part of the training, in order to go on and lead this team, you can't be unaware. You
Right.
have to be aware. This has to be a willing choice that you have to make, which is why I said Isaiah made willing choices, for at least 7 of the last 8 years, probably 8 of the last 8 years. He has to be a willing participant. You need to know what's up, and you need to go forward knowing that. And that's going to be even more shit that you're going to carry on your shoulder. And here's how I'm going to teach it to you by letting you know, and then defeating me, whatever that entails, maybe murder, maybe not, um, and then going forward and signing your contract, which should be, from their twisted fucking eyes, the reward. You did all this hard work, and now you're willing, and now you know what's up, and now you're going to come forward, you're going to sign that contract, and we are going to pay you, and it's going to be somewhat ritualistic and creepy as fuck. Um, but Cam here is a good person at his core, at his center. And at a certain point, he's going to say enough is enough. He's going to realize as a human being he matters, and he's not going to roll over for these scumbags yet again. He's not going to be processed even further because maybe he realizes this is not all the training. There's going to be shit along the way. There's going to be an artificial, pretty, beautiful woman on my arm that is not my girlfriend from high school. It's not going to be some douchebag calling me a African American. It's there's plenty of shit to come. To get these rings from this football league, it's going to be a thing. Um, and how much are you willing to pay for? I don't even want to call it success because you're successful if you're content and if you have a good life. There's a success in a lot of arenas. How much are you willing to go for financial success? And at a certain point, he says, fuck you at that contract signing. I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but you can backtrack us if you need to. Elsie is there. I feel she gets annoyed a little too fast. Hey, Cam, sign the contract. And then she asks him again, and she's like, eh. And, like goes off to the back, like, okay, fix this fucking guy to get him to sign. Like, I've done all this shit, get him to sign the contract. I wish he had not gone from 0 to 60. I wish he'd be sign the contract, Cam, to sign the contract, Cam, to not from to you know, from one to the other.
I totally agree. I think she goes from 0 to 100 a little fast. She could have made a pit stop along the way. Um,
But maybe she did, and maybe that was cut out. Maybe that was Justin's
yeah,
choice.
yeah,
We
yeah.
don't know.
Um, I do have to backtrack. I remember why. He wakes up on the ice slab, and he is hooked up to the IV, and he wakes up
Yes.
just as his body empties a full bag of Isaiah White.
Of right, which is not. But is Isaiah White, or is Isaiah White generations of?
Right.
There's this really cool conversation where he talks about the history of football, how the government came along and they had to make a certain play legal because these big white guys were dominating
The forward
these Native
pass.
Americans, right? So they had to make a certain play legal, and they talk about what a mascot is at that point and what's the difference. What's the opposite of a savior? And I think he said a martyr, but it's not. It's a mascot,
Right.
and that's going to come, into play here during this confrontation. So everything comes full circle in this scene. I really appreciated that. I loved all of that. Um, I don't know, maybe just the senseless, repetitive brutality that for me could have been done in a 12-second montage. Didn't need to be 30 minutes of the film. But what do I know?
So, yeah, I have to disagree. I loved it. Um, I loved the slow burn and the payoff. especially when the payoff's as big as this payoff. That's so slow burn with a little of a payoff. That's when I'm like, what a waste of my time. When the payoff is fucking fireworks, that is when the slow burn is worth it.
When the payoff is a classroom full of children ripping off a nurse's face,
Yeah.
or a witch's face, or whatever the fuck she
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Weapon.
Eating her alive and just leaving like a leg.
Yeah. So
Love it.
again, and I gave that a 5. I give this a 4. I hope this doesn't become a formula, but maybe it's what we've been asking for, right? Like we want people to go deeper, just I don't know, deeper into something that's interesting.
Elevated horror, man. Um, So yeah, he drains the bag, and he also tells him about the blood before they fight. He tells him that the blood that they've been doing this ritual forever. That the guy before me took the blood, the guy before that took the blood. They've got this blood of the ancestors, and it
Yeah.
fuels you. Even now, I had to give it to you to make this a fair fight. You can feel it inside you. I know you can. The beast has awoken, and then they go into a bare knuckle brawl.
And I love the wardrobe here, how they show like 6 or 7 generations of the different style helmets and the different style jerseys, and you can just
Yeah.
tell it's getting older as they go back. It's the closest thing I get to a photo or a creepy drawing in this movie. Um, that was excellent. Like
I,
a nod to the wardrobe person who set that up. That
I
was really great.
I also like the outfit, the outfits they're in for the fight, and then all the way to the end because Cam's outfit, they're wearing just the white padded pants of a regular football player, and that's their gladiatorial combat
Yeah,
outfit for this scene.
yeah, yeah.
So, as you might assume, Cam is going to win the fight, not without having his arm broken. It is not his throwing arm, so don't worry.
He can still catch on with another team that's going to pay him almost as much money without all the sick devil blood drinking horse shit mixed in.
So then they've talked about going through the tunnel, the dark tunnel, and the lights and the cheering of the crowd on the other side. So Cam, as the victor, will go through the dark tunnel. He'll come out to the cheering of some cheerleaders. He'll find Elsie sitting at a desk with the contract. He'll see.
Faceless cheerleaders. That part I radically enjoyed. I don't know if they had like some shit on their some kind of material on their face. I thought that was great, and what a great metaphor. And if I gave a shit, I would dive into what that metaphor means. That these people that support you aren't really people.
Right.
They're faceless people of the crowd. What a great metaphor. There's such elements of genius here sprinkled throughout, and that was one of them. And I thought, fuck, man, imagine being one of these actresses and you get your big role in a Jordan Peele produced horror movie that's going to be one of the top horror movies because it ain't going to beat Weapons. But it's going to be one of the top movies of the year, and you have to wear shit over your face. But for the story, it was great. It
Oh
was
yeah.
awesome.
Then you've got the owner and the agent and his cronies. They're all back further on another higher raised thing and chairs with
Hmm.
pig masks on.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, that is definitely nail on the head, but it was still perfect because they.
the people who are paying you, propping you, enrolling you are pigs.
Yeah, it's just that simple. Um, so, congratulations, sign the contract. He kind of pauses, doesn't move, sign the fucking contract.
Is
But,
Isaiah White dead? Does when so Cam has a broken arm.
yeah, Isaiah White's dead.
Isaiah is dead.
Is dead.
Did he know he was gonna die?
He knew one of them was going to die. He definitely didn't think it was going to be him.
Okay, okay.
Oh, yeah. Um, so, sign the fucking contract, Cam. Sign the fucking contract, Cam. The owner looks at him and goes, I'll kill your fucking family. Sign the contract. And that's it, man. He sees this picture. He
But
remembers.
for me, this is one of the things that came up throughout the movie. I'm like, when is Cam going to realize they need him way more? Right? And this is the conversation that any worker needs to have in a capitalist society. They need you
Right.
more than you will ever need them. You can just go get another job, but they need somebody. And if you have that level of talent, quality, and integrity, know your worth. And so this guy, this owner, I feel has to go to the nuclear option. For me, it showed his desperation. I thought it was more, this is how desperate I am to get you. We put all this, and they do mean all this time and energy and
Right.
effort to groom him from childhood.
Right.
What a risk it was to have, the character's name, to take an axe to his head.
Tom?
Was that Tom?
Or the no, he didn't kill Tom. He let
The
the
cockadoodle doo guy,
oh
which
yeah, yeah, Maurice.
Sam figures out that this is the
Malik, yeah.
fucker. This is the fucker that cracked me over the head and gave me
Yeah.
this TBI, which may not have been physically debilitating for him, but again, I think they're taking a huge fucking risk in doing that.
It definitely shook
But
him. Shook his
yeah,
confidence.
it gave him such a blow to his confidence
So
that they did it. They knock you down so they could build you back up. It was very, very intentional.
yeah.
And like I said, I do love the metaphors in this movie. But beyond what a risk it was, like, hey, maybe you go too deep and you fucking, I don't know, slice this kid's brain out, and he's a fucking vegetable and he's not going to throw shit for you. So that was a risk. But beyond that, the willingness to just be an utter piece of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it was necessary for the movie. If not, Cam comes to his senses on day one, realizes that they need me more than I need them. Fuck them. Let me show them what I can really do, which is what we're gonna get here.
Right. And so two things happen here that trigger Cam. I don't know if how much of an internal monologue he is having with himself on should I sign it, should I not sign it. Um,
I don't think a lot at all.
three
I think he makes the decision. Like,
right.
he knows.
Three things are going to happen here. So the first thing is he sees a picture of himself as a child, his father shaking hands with the owner.
Yeah.
This is where I think he puts it together that yes, he was groomed for this from childhood.
So maybe when I was a child, I forgot that I got to meet this guy that was not Isaiah White, but it's Isaiah White's boss. He's just focused on Isaiah at the time. So it makes sense why he wouldn't remember that. But now it's like, it's one of those things you look back on your child. Oh, that did happen, and I was there for that.
The second revelation of this photo is that the father's emphasis on what a real man does is sacrifice for his family, for football, for whatever. I have a hypothesis that that he sacrificed himself to have his son groomed. There had to be a price to pay.
Yeah.
They didn't just pick this kid because he was a kid, 5, 6, 7 years old. Like, just because he loves football. Like, why was he groomed from that age? Because his dad made a deal with the devil, and the price was his soul, his blood,
let's talk about
some kind
that
of sacrifice.
price, because Isaiah, in one of the pretty early on, day one, day two, maybe day three, is like, stop worrying about your father, stop worrying about me. It's actually if you look at the dialogue, it's actually very loving and very powerful and very forwarding. Stop worrying about what people think about you, your dad or me or anybody else. And he says to him at one point, which is to your point, how Isaiah really does have an affinity or an appreciation for Cam. He says to him, be your own person, don't be me.
Right.
And I really, really appreciated that. And I don't feel it was part of the gaslighting. I don't feel it was part of the hot and cold. I feel like it was a genuine moment. And but it speaks to how deep did this deal his father made. Like, okay, you're going to get my son, and you're going to make him Isaiah White, and you're going to do what you have to, and I'm aware of it. And that includes, before he goes there, my death. And so we're going to see that in the interviewer, and his brother's behind the camera, and they're making jokes about the brother. How, my dad always said, my father always said, so was that, I think it was very, very much part of the process. And holy shit, what a price the father paid to have this happen. I believe he thinks for his son. I'm going to say to his son.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely the price to pay. Whether it was a willing price he sacrificed, or if it was partly willing and partly part of the process. We need to kill you so that your son lives for you.
Yeah.
You need to program your son that football is life, that sacrifice is everything, and then we're going to kill you. So he obsesses over these things that you said to him. And
It's so we could break him down out of that to rebuild him the way we want him. What?
yeah, it's a
Oh, fuck.
there's a lot of
Okay,
levels to
love
this.
the metaphor for
Yeah,
this movie. Like, I
yeah.
love it.
The psychological horror to this movie is very deep, and then you have this almost exploitative gore fest at the end, which is just a lot of fun, and also relieves a lot of the tension of the previous 90 minutes, as well as it's all catharsis because he's about to kill all of the villains in the movie. every
Let's go. You're a
yeah.
killer. You killed that mascot on the field. What's the difference between a savior and a mascot? Do it.
Yeah.
Get in there, please.
Right. So he sees the picture. Then the owner says, "I'll kill your family." Then all of these assumptions you can make as a viewer are solidified when Tom loses his cool and comes off the bench, and he comes up and he's yelling, "Sign the fucking contract. I worked so fucking hard for you. We did this all for you. We've groomed you since you were a kid." That was the mistake. He said it. Any hesitation Cam might have had out the window at that moment, where all of his fears are confirmed, all of his assumptions that he could make from these clues are confirmed.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've been wondering and worrying, and now everything came together, and that's life, and that's the genius. I'll say that's the genius that is in this writing, is that the way life is going to present options for you and evidence and truths that you can, if you look, you will find. The villain cannot get away with everything. So whatever villain you're up against, they can't take away everything. Truth has got to come out. And so when it requires a village to screw you over, one of those village people are going to be weak, and that's the agent here, who is so blind, nakedly, openly shitty human being.
Oh yeah.
Like, fuck. We've been going this long, and you're not going to sign the contract.
Yeah. So
him and Elsie get really exasperated really quickly.
So Elsie says, "So I gotta fucking do everything around here." She goes up, and well, first of all, Cam can sense a body behind him. It's Malik with a sword, but Cam has the ice pick, or the hammer pick, and he kills Malik before Malik can kill him. He drops the hammer pick and picks up the sword that Malik had.
That's the cock-a-doodle-doo guy, right?
He says cock-a-doodle-doo.
So satisfying.
Yeah.
So sad. And again, and we will give Justin credit here, shown, not told. Oh, this is the guy. This guy who's been waking up. That's the guy from the beginning. Fantastic.
Yeah. I do love that everybody gets a one-liner here from Cam. So he kills the cock-a-doodle-doo guy. He says cock-a-doodle-doo what, or something like that in his face. Yeah. And then Elsie says, "I don't have to do everything myself." Pulls out a dagger, runs, goes towards him, trips, falls. Dagger goes through her neck. As he walks past her, he goes, "Your eyebrows look stupid." He pulls the sword out. He kills one of the other guys. Kills another guy. He's got the owner up against the goalpost, and he cuts his head off. He says something to him. I think it says "stick around," which. That's a classic Arnold from Predator, but
sure.
Anyone you can say "stick around." He comes back to everyone's dead now except for the agent who he's about to kill, and he realizes, I don't need to kill this guy. Let's just let his life be horrible, or whatever happens. He throws the sword down and he goes to walk out, and you see a pentagram in the ground, and the agent kind of gets invisible force pulled over it, the center of it. And as Cam's leaving the arena, he kind of checks one of the male cheerleaders,
Yeah, I like.
and
It
behind
was
him,
it was finally him coming to be him, without any of the cockiness or arrogance that comes from so many accolades being thrown at you. He came out of this training the best way he could have come out of this training.
we are right, right. He he figured out who he was and
That's it.
what he wanted, and he got to shed the what his father turned him into, what Isaiah and these people tried to turn him into. Um,
And what his ability and his talent turned him into.
yeah,
Yeah.
his life isn't football. Um,
Yeah.
so as he's walking out in slow mo, behind him we see the blood mist explosion uh, of the agent Tom, who I think here after he signs the contract, he would have had to stand at the center of that thing and get imbued with the gifts.
Yeah.
But instead of the ritual going like it was supposed to, the pentagram just grabbed the nearest entity and just took it as a sacrifice.
Loved it.
That's just and that's just guesswork. Like, and it honestly it doesn't matter what the truth of that is, just because it was a fun little thing to happen as the movie comes to a close. Yeah, so I think that's it. If we want to talk about things we really liked or really didn't like that we didn't cover, you can go first. I know what I want to talk about.
Um, no, you have, I know, like right here, normally this is the part where, I would ask a couple cool questions about what ifs, what we would have done differently as writers, what choices we would have made, fun stuff here. This movie, for whatever reason, I just did not enjoy it. The Beautiful Human did do research, and apparently, the internet is on my side. This movie gets basically an overall review of a 3.8. That did not impact me. I'm starting to watch this movie. It's a 7. And I'm like, okay, this is a great movie with great performances. It's going to become an 8 or a 9 soon. And it's sliding down to 6, 5, 4. Just, I don't know. It was like some kind of anesthetizing cream right on my balls. Just, just put me right to sleep. Jenny actually fell asleep 3 times during this movie.
Wow.
So we ask for intelligent, slower shown films so much, and then we finally get one, and it's like, you know, I don't want to give Hollywood any evidence to go back and just make mindless superhero movies over and over and over again. We need something better than popcorn, and this could have been it. Um, I don't know. I don't know what I needed more. Maybe it was just the world I didn't like. Maybe it was just I'm so not into sports at all. Um, maybe that was it. Maybe if it was a world I cared about. But what I will say is, sports are a fantastic metaphor for life. Life is a game. Play it to win. Competition is going to be involved. You're going to run up against other people that want the same thing as you, and you got to figure that out. And you got to figure out how you're going to get there and who you're going to be on the other side. So again, I love the metaphor that this movie made, and I feel like they took advantage of it in the dialogue every chance that they could. That said, bored the piss out of me. Stephen Anthony, Dark Cloud Studios, I give this movie a 4. Haas, your thoughts, your insights, your likes, your dislikes. What do you got?
I pretty much went over most of it as we went through our step by step, but I will once again just bring up I really enjoyed the Christ allegory here. Normally I don't. I'm not a big fan of like Christianity being mixed into my movies, but they don't
Well, with
really.
the team name being Saviors, I
Yeah,
feel like they had, like, what
yeah,
an opportunity.
yeah. No, and they didn't do it from a religious angle. They did it from a story angle. They did it from
Yeah.
the story of Jesus Christ, not
Yes.
necessarily the religion of Christianity, which I thought was excellent, and I think that's why I really liked it in him more than I've liked it in the past or any Exorcist fucking movie because they're so the same and they're so bad. Um, so real quick, just to hit all the angles, we have the sacrifice of the body, we have the sacrifice of the blood, we have the blood as the power, we
Yeah.
have the Last Supper during the photo shoot and interview sequence.
Wasn't it like it was like a clear
Oh, clearly the Last
homage,
Supper. Yeah, yeah.
right? But it was clearly that imagery.
Yep,
Okay,
yep. And
yeah,
then
I enjoyed
we have the crucifixion, obviously, between the Savior's logo on the cross to like him when he's like covered in blood and he puts his arms out into the pose. And there was, oh my god, I feel like there was one or two more that I caught that I was like, oh man, I got to remember this for the show.
Did you go see it a second time?
I did go see it a second time, and I was very glad to. It was better the second time. I enjoyed it way more.
Because of all the nuance and the stuff that's layered, like you're not going to catch all the psychological horror. You're not going to catch the depth of the psychological horror. You're just going to get hit by it.
Right.
You're not going to realize how deep it runs unless you see it a second time. I think part of that is because of the cinematography, how the movie is conveyed to us, and the brutality of it. So I will say that this movie definitely has layers. I think I can't believe I'm saying this. They don't need a very strong voice in the room, but I think what this movie for me needed was a bean counter, an accountant, a Hollywood executive, a network piece of shit to say, okay, we need to make this more palatable
Palatable. Yeah, that's something I would say.
in parts.
Yeah, except I'm on the other side of it. Like, I told people after I saw it the first time, I was like, this almost tries to be like an art house Hollywood horror, and art house indie usually turns people off, especially in the art house like horror genre.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I loved every minute of it, and the fact that this is a Hollywood production that felt so much like an indie, it felt so much like written and directed by Justin Tipping. When you see the writer and the director the same person, you know that this is something that the director cares about. It's not just
Yep.
a job to him.
Yep.
And so you get to watch this beautiful film
Yeah.
that borders on art house, is completely completely abstract. You're thinking about everything in every scene. What does this mean? What does this mean? There's the Christ allegory. There's the movie's about family. The movie's about sacrifice. The movie's, the protagonist goes on the hero's journey. He becomes a different person at the end. He becomes a better person at the end. He wins in the
Yeah.
end. Unlike Christ, who sacrificed himself for our sins, he has to sacrifice himself for the fans.
Yeah.
He chooses not to. He does not abide the word of God, and he kills them all and goes on his own merry way. And that's because of the journey he went on. That's because he grew as a person throughout the story. And once again, the contrast between this beautiful psychological horror and the last 10-15 minutes being so brutal and almost slapsticky with the overuse of blood splatter effects. It's cathartic as a viewer.
I loved it. I was all there for it.
You're so tense. You're on the edge of your seat,
Yeah.
worrying and anxious about everything that's happening in the movie, and then he makes this decision to not sign the contract and to kill all these motherfuckers, and all you can do is smile. You get your catharsis, you get your release.
Yes.
And you don't get it in a realistic way either, because of due to the the wacky nature of the practical effects, which once again, I love my practical effects.
So two things here. Let me see if I can remember them both. The catharsis and the artistic nature of this movie. I definitely noticed the artistic style choices that were made, and I did for the most part appreciate it. Um, I still would have diluted it a little bit with something a little bit more palatable. Um, the second thing for the catharsis, at a certain point in our lives, it's happened before. It's happened to you before. It's going to happen to you again. You're going to be offered money and to sacrifice some of your principles, and or not. And I'm going to say to metaphorically kill those motherfuckers the way Cam did. Choose your principles, and the way to kill them is to walk away in silence. The silence will absolutely kill them. Cam makes the absolute best choice here. Part of me really wants to go down a rabbit hole conversation of what would our life be like if Jesus Christ did not sacrifice himself, did not allow himself to be crucified, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'll avoid that and just say I feel Cam made the right choice here at the end.
Absolutely. And in summation, that's why I gave it an 8 out of 10.
And you should not let that stop you from going to BasementMedia.Online right now and check out all the things that Hasparatu has to offer. We're going to be at another convention in November that Nate can talk about more intelligently than I can. But please check out Wish Me Not, No One's Coming, everything Basement Media has to offer, despite this rating
Yeah.
that Haas gives him.
Yeah, I know. I know. And what's so brave about my rating is that it goes against the commonality, and despite Steven falling in line, conforming to the norm, and giving it the bad rating like everybody else is giving it, you should definitely check out darkclawstudios.com, pick up a copy of Darkwake. He's got a graphic, a one-shot graphic out called Peekaboo, which is phenomenal. I hear a collection of short stories is on the way. It's a reprint, but it's still coming soon.
So the reprint and new for novellas, like a different seasons, book is on the way because you have inspired me with the success of No One's Coming. So I think I've said that in my critique and review of this movie. I am of what Dennis Rodman was called by Phil Jackson a backwards walker. I do not march along. I do not play along to get along at all. That has been my problem, and is why I'm unemployed right now. Sometimes, you go against the grain and you do what you know is the right thing. Good for you. You're going to be an inspiration. You're going to have your principles, and you're going to pay a price, and you're going to figure it out. Good for you. And that's honestly what I try to do. Here, sometimes though, the opposite side of that coin is everybody else crazy or is it you? At a certain point, when you get a chip on your shoulder, oh, you fuck the mailman. He looked at me sideways when he dropped off the mail. Fuck this guy. At a certain point, not everybody is a jerk off. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're the jerk off. And I'm not calling you the jerk off. I'm saying when the internet and people, when the common thread is this movie's not so great, I'm not going to be the backwards walker for the sake of being the backwards walker and say this movie's amazing. I'm not accusing you of that. I believe you honestly did enjoy this movie. God bless, because the proof is in the pudding. You went and saw it twice.
Yeah, I wouldn't have seen it a second time if I didn't love it. Yeah.
So we, one of those rare occasions, which is becoming less and less rare. I think this is like the second or third time we disagreed and had such disparate scores.
Yeah.
But let me just. What was your favorite part of the movie? What was the part that you truly enjoyed, other than the catharsis at the end? Because I think obviously for everybody, Cam just the quippy one-liners. She stabbed herself in the neck, just all that stuff. Without that scene,
I loved when, I'm going to say two scenes. One we already covered, when he kind of screamed in his face about leadership, and then Cam steps up and actually hits all the passes under 2 seconds to save his teammate. I did really like that scene, especially the speech that Marlon gives him while screaming it into his face. The speech, regardless, that motivates him to step it up. The scene that we didn't talk about, the morning after the night he gets drunk with the girls, which is against the rules, but Isaiah never says that. He never reminds him of the rules. He told him the rules at the beginning, right? And he wakes up to see Marlon, Isaiah, over him with a gun, and he's like, "Did you fuck her?" And you don't.
Okay, I mentioned that very, very briefly, and I didn't even catch the reason behind it. I thought maybe he fucked his wife, and maybe he's pissed off about that.
So there's a lot of questions here. Immediately, is he implicating that he fucked his wife, or is he asking if he fucked anybody? In the beginning, he says, no cell phones, no phone calls, no Pornhub, no PornTube, no OnlyFans. He really stresses the no female distractions.
We are
You
isolated here for a
for a
reason. We are going to
reason.
speak, breathe, eat, chew football, and
So
that is it.
this Did You Fucker inquiry is amazing, and some of the best acting from Marlon in the film is this scene, um, because he's got the gun as the prop. You know, he talks about how when he was young, you know, he like she'd be sucking my dick. He sticks the gun in his mouth and he starts to to push it up against his cheek, and he slobbers all over himself. What he does is so like physical, so visceral, like a very excellent scene from
Does
Marlon.
Cam know in this scene that they need him more than he needs them, where he believes this guy's not going to shoot me? Or does he
I,
think,
I
or what would you say he thinks his percentages are of getting shot?
I don't think Cam thinks he's going to get shot. I think he definitely thinks it's an intimidation tactic.
Yeah.
I also don't think he knows that he is needed more, because the question of whether or not um, Isaiah is going to retire is still on the table. You know, Cam could still get the contract and be QB2 for a season to
Right.
to learn the ropes, to learn the system. In fact, they do that a lot with quarterbacks.
Yep.
We see this gets revisited when right before he snipes the fan in the mascot outfit in the desert, where he smiles at Isaiah and says, "I tell you what, if I miss, I might think about letting you keep QB1 next year." This is a twofold attack. One, he doesn't know that Isaiah knows only one of these guys is going to survive this.
Right.
So that's like a reminder for Isaiah when you see his facial reaction to this line. Isaiah knows only one of us is leaving no matter what. And the other dig is that his confidence has gotten to the point where he's actually taking a dig at Isaiah for the first time.
Yeah.
The brohood is it's there, but
Power dynamics are shifting.
yes, in this moment, Cam thinks I'm better than you, Isaiah. He might not think it forever. He thinks it in this moment when he says it.
Guys, go see him, but
Go
when you do see it with the attention to detail, and nobody wants to study during a movie. Part of us just want to sit back and just get immersed, but get immersed in a thoughtful way, because you will enjoy it more. Two of Haas's insights made me want to bump this up. Point 0.5. I'm going to stick to my guns. With these insights, yeah, it definitely adds layers and quality to the movie. But due to the, just the way the story was told, I'm going to stick to my 4. But I could give it a 5 if I was a less douchey, more open human being.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Stephen Anthony maybe gave it a 5. I gave it an 8. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.